And welcome back to Lair. I'm Sulk and here to bring you our next build. Today I'll be building the last World War Toon tank that I have in my collection, and it will be the Tiger 1. As previously mentioned in my last video, again, I started building these with the King Tiger, and I thought it'd be fitting to end it with the Tiger 1. And can't wait to get started, and let's get into it. Starting things off, we have the front of the box here. So as you can see, Tiger 1, German heavy tank, kit number WWT001, and made by Meng. And the World War Toons icon here, and nice picture of the Tiger. On the side here, we have, looks like the back profile and a side profile shot. Just another picture of the tank here. Instead of paint, it looks like, oh, yeah, another color set, but it's a different picture from what we had before. And same thing on this side. On the back of the box, more details. Meng, Tiger 1 German heavy tank. A little blurb about what the tank did and its specifications. So let's crack her open. So what's inside the box? Looks like you have about 4 different sprues. One chassis piece here. More poly caps for, looks like, tank treads. 2 thick tank treads actually compared to all the other ones I've seen. These are actually pretty thick compared to it. 1 water slide decal sheet and the instruction manual. Has about 11 different steps of instructions, but again, each of these steps has a lot of steps in between. Doesn't look too complicated. Well, again, I spent too much time building these Russian tanks, which were just put together like that. This might take a little bit longer because it does look like it has a lot more detail in it. But time will tell. Let's get started. Getting right into close-ups, let's move to the front of the tank. First thing I want to point out is it does look like there's a little bit of stress marks on my little kit here. Not too sure it's on all of them, but I just wanted to point it out. Because, again, in real life, the metal does kind of flex a bit, but you can see a little stress mark here. And, again, doesn't really take away anything. If anything, it adds a little bit of character to the tank. You can see the driver's port here, and the co-pilot's machine gun turret. At the front of it, you see a nice little shovel, a little touch of detail, another handle. And the very cool thing about this Tiger compared to all the other ones, the shackles actually can move up and down. All the other tanks I've built so far, the shackles kind of fixed in place and you kind of just stick it onto the hull and doesn't move from there. Moving on to the side, you see all the, again, I'm just going to call it a skirt. Each one is individually flexed from the pretty much straight from the cast. I'm assuming it's an aesthetic choice because on the same side it does the exact same thing. And again, it does add a little bit of touch of character to the tank. On the side also you see a bunch of cables. Again, it's all part of the cast. You don't have to stick them on or anything like that. I'm going to point out the very cool thing about the tracks here, or the actual wheels of the tank track. Each one, it's a little bit finicky putting on because they kind of all mesh together, and if you try to put like each individual wheel by itself, it actually won't go together. Because you look really closely, they kind of sit in between each other, and they all have to go together one shot. And it takes a little bit of getting used to, but once you got one side on, the other side becomes very easy and goes on nice and smooth. On the back of the tank, you can see its exhaust, or well, two pipes here. A lot of detail in the back. Again, everything is just straight out of the mold, so you don't really have to glue anything except for these two rear tank track covers. And once again, another look at the shackles, which do, again, move up and down. On the right side, pretty much exact same thing, and you can see how each of the skirt pieces are kind of individually like warped in its own way, which adds a little touch of detail. I'm going to move the turret so you take a good close look at the top of the hull. Again, the only thing you really have to add is a latch here, like a handle, and there's a little light here. But everything else comes straight from the cast, and you don't have to glue anything. So more cables, you see exhaust vents, nice little cap, and yeah, just a little bit of touches of detail. Moving on to the turret. The actual barrel of the turret has a lot of elevation down. Not too sure if that's the decision they made because it has actually the most movement out of all the turrets I've made so far. But I'm surprised it goes that far down because it can really point close to, like, yeah, it points pretty far down. Onto the side of it, looks like smoke launchers, more tank track pieces, and just more detail. On the back, it really doesn't show much. It just kind of adds a little bit to the design choice of the turret. On the other side of it, looks like another hatch piece, more launchers. So at least shows difference. There's a difference between the left and the right side of the turret. Moving at the top, you can see the main hatch. It does open up, but I wouldn't recommend playing around with too much because the more you do, you start seeing stress marks on the plastic, and I just leave it closed. And we're back. Altogether, this kit took about just a tad bit under an hour to finally complete, and let's get into my likes and dislikes about it. First thing I love is, again, like the rest of the line, I love the aesthetic. Another cool thing that, again, attention to detail, these little shackles that move up and down, they didn't really have to do that because on all the previous tanks, you pretty much glue it on and there it is. Also, I was slightly worried about the whole polycap system when it came to the tank treads, or the tank wheels, because out of all the other ones, they all just keep popping off. But just moving this one along, so far, no real issues. And it kind of ties into my somewhat of a dislike, a very small dislike, is that after a while, the treads do kind of start to come off a bit. But luckily for me and the construction of it is that the rest of the wheels don't come off because these are a pain to like. It's not the worst thing in the world, but it's just a little bit difficult trying to get these on, as I mentioned in the close-ups. But yeah, there's other than that, there's no complaints. And that actually concludes this entire World War Toons line because I think they only made 6 of them, or at least from what I know. And I may as well complete the trend of having all of them in line. And the Tiger does go at the end because it is the widest one. Like, look at the size comparison between this and the Sherman, and even the King Tiger. It is wider, but not as long. And I may as well just go right into my final thoughts on this entire line itself, because I had so much fun just building all of these. And if you're looking for an entry level, not too complicated, like type of build, especially going to the model kits, and if you like tanks, I highly recommend this line if you still get your hands on it. Like, this was the only time I actually had problems with, where I was starting to like get frustrated with, but the rest of them, perfect. And just looking at it, if they were all painted, it would definitely look a lot better. But as y'all know, I'm not a painter. I am a builder. And again, you might not like the whole super deformed or like chibi look. And you might go for the more realistic type tanks. But as a jumping off point, you can't go wrong with this line. So I highly recommend it. And that just about wraps it up for me. Again, if you like this kind of content, don't forget that like and subscribe button and hit that bell notification to keep up to date with all our videos. Also, leave a comment to see what you'd like me to build next, because I am loving this whole super deformed building line, and I kind of might keep moving forward with that. But you want to see me build other things or even like more realistic kits, by all means, just let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to hit follow us on all social medias, because we do our Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok all up and running. And also, don't forget to check out our website at conquestslayer.com to look at our merch. And hey, everything a little bit helps support the channel and helps me to create more content. Until next time, I'm Sulk, and have fun building, y'all. Laters.